Cool, it works. Can you... my English is a bit rusty, so can you listen to my voice? I will try to do something. I will try to probably... I have 2 panels to complete this afternoon. Oh, thanks, Nax. You said we can hear you and I can watch it at the same time. It's one of my first YouTube streaming, and I want to put it in streaming all the afternoon and complete these 2 panels in live, just to test if the system is good. Oh, thanks. Salut Adrien. I will probably put things like that so you can see me drawing, and I hope I will not have live crash with Krita, and just try to focus on finishing this panel. So okay, it's good. Thank you, Esther. Oh, Esther, yes. So I have to make the inking of these 2 panels, but these 2 panels right now are in storyboard steps. So they look really crappy, and I will take just a brush and try to better draw pepper here. So maybe the camera is a bit hiding my hand. I will try to move it. Maybe on this point of view. Yeah, sorry, this is like a first time. Yes, this looks a bit better. So my idea with doing a live stream like that is to make a sort of every Wednesday afternoon live stream, and just working at the same time. Marie, no problem if you fall asleep. I don't have background music. That's something I have to solve later. Maybe I have to find a radio with only Creative Commons music, so I can stream it in background. It will be a bit less empty. And if you have questions, I can read the chat at the same time. That's something great about technology. I'll try to comment a little bit what I'm doing, because there is no really audio or music. Pressing M for mirroring and seeing this deformation because I'm rusty. This is the start of the day, so up a little bit less deformed. And I will use also the deform tool, because my construction, that's often a problem I have with my construction when I draw over the storyboard. I tend to have the same issue than all the things I do in the storyboard. and I just copy it after. Maybe I should just erase all the storyboard. So on this panel, there is the end here, but right now I'm trying just to build up a bit the layout of the storyboard. So there is the end of Kumin, and Kumin, this character, get a butterfly. It's something that she summoned. Oh, I see, it's very okay. So yes, good. Jazzradio.com can be a good choice if you like jazz music. I really like jazz music. I will study it later. Thank you, Esther. That's I will just note it somewhere to not forget about it. Jazzradio.com. Okay, cool. Yes, because without any music, if I have even a neighbor that starts to scream somewhere or something, it can be very weird. So I have the hand of Kumin here. Well, when I draw like that, I don't think a lot about anatomy and everything. I do a lot of mistakes. I also must get used to draw with all these live stream things. That's something I want. And be relaxed at the same time, because there is always a bit of pressure. Thank you, Abdul, for the word on the comment. I don't know how to call this. Which software do you use to capture your process? By Adrian. I use OBS, and it looks like that. I will just show it. It's a free and open source software. I have it on my second screen. And I'm testing it right now. I hope it will not crash, because I want to draw all this panel. Did you ever try it doing some Jurassic Park, Jurassic World stuff? No, because Jurassic Park stuff, Jurassic Park is a proprietary universe, and I don't have the license to draw Jurassic Park things. So I'm not really into fan art. I prefer to draw my own stuff. I don't like really the artists who draw only fan art. So that's why. So here there is Carrot watching also at the scene, and right now it's still very, very rough layout. I'm drawing a bit like mannequin, just to see where the proportion are. The head here. I think the framing can be a bit better. If pepper is a bit like that, and if yes, maybe like that, and this part also. So yes, it's a very low camera angle. Yeah. I just erase a bit this. Oh, new question. Salut Divad. Merci beaucoup pour ton travail. Merci Rico. I can watch this all day, it's so cool. Thank you, Abdul. I think I will take a couple of hours to complete these two panels, and I hope it will not be so boring. So feel free to do something else at the same time. I try just to lay out the jacket of Pepper and the collar. Okay. Carrot, the orientation is probably good. Drawing comics is always really challenging for me. Drawing a pretty character is in comparison very easy. But trying to get the layout, the view angle, the design and everything is even after drawing like 150 pages, I still think it's a very hard exercise. It's taking shape for Pepper. So maybe now I will just zoom and detail a bit the facial expression. So this is not a serious facial expression. Pepper is just surprise, and I can make her face a bit more comic style because no need realistic eyes, it's not a close-up. I like to add this little shadow under the mouse. Yeah, maybe I will do a bit better for the hat. I don't know how we'll react Carrot. Maybe, yes, it's a butterfly, so it's a creature. We'll just point at it. Like, I want to get it. Not with both. Paw, maybe just one. I will look a bit at the chat. It's on the second screen, so each time I just stop to. Do you have a tutorial for hands, Mary? Sorry, I don't have one. And even if I wanted to do one, I always struggle to paint my hands, even if it gets better with time. So maybe one day when I will feel that I'm mastering the hands, I will do a tutorial. Adrien, do you have a project to edit your art book or your sketchbook? No, I can't do it myself because I can't sell some product. I'm an artist in France at la Maison des Artistes, and I can't sell my own sketchbook. But if a publisher wants to do it with a company, publishing company that can pay tax and everything, sure, I will be okay. But I can't do it on my own. Adrien, we were met in Montpellier for a Blender conference. I remember the Blender conference. We went to Utopia Cinema and we saw Sintel, so maybe it's like 7 years ago or 6 years ago, something like that. Yeah, for drawing hands, I'm really bad at it, so I don't feel really legit to give some advice. I wish I could. I really wish. I try to get always this curve, the curve for the fingers, and always to get the main shape. Yes, when I drew this one, it's look a bit okay, because yes, if I turn off the sketch, Cumin wear gloves, and with gloves you can already add a lot of little volume like this, that is the fabrics, the tissue that folds. So this is easier. If you have a character and you put gloves, it's really easier. And you can see here, yes, it works better with gloves. So all the old witches in my comics wear gloves. It wasn't for this reason. It was because just it was looking better for the design point of view. But I'm really happy I designed them like this, because drawing hands is really difficult. Maybe old hands, it's a bit more easy, because you have all the bone structure that is really easier to see. It makes more obvious volume. The harder is maybe the hand of a woman, just because it's thin. You have to find a good balance between flesh and between bones. It's really hard to make elegant, good-looking hands. So yeah, I think I have to see a part of the palm here, because this is, the background is only made of clouds, and it's hard to give a sense of perspective into this shot. So I will try to not overly detail, because when I detail too much, I don't like to ink. I really like, when I'm inking my drawing, to keep a lot of work to do and to correct it on the fly. It's saving time and it's making me less sleepy when I draw. Maybe hips, just a little bit like that. That's something I like with digital. You can always tweak, move this here, move this line there. The move tool here, this move preset, just make it very blurry if you use it. But this is a sketch, it's okay. I'm just using the sketch is a normal layer at 25% opacity, and I just uncheck the blue channel just to see the line blue. Just a little tips. And after I reduce the opacity again, just to make it barely visible. I have tutorial about it, and if you know my channel, you probably saw it 1000 times. And to ink, I made a new preset. I will share it soon. This is just nothing spectacular, just a little thin line that go very low opacity and a bit thicker and high opacity, but it has a good pressure sensitivity. And I'm using this color. It's a brown, almost half value, because if I'm inking with black, I just find there is like too much contrast to everything. So I prefer to use a brown. I think it looks better, and it looks better also when I add the color to start with a brown. It has just like a subtle saturation and everything. Oh, by the way, there is a new feature in Krita 4 that is really good. It's this. When you zoom, you have now the pixel grid. I never use it, but I think it looks really cool. Yeah, so just a little note. So selecting here, removing, and I will try to make it. Just create a new layer. So if I just do, I can press sup, delete on my keyboard. Sup, sorry, it's the French word, supprimer. And I usually like to ink at this zoom level, 67 or 100. Both are looks good. And I will try to focus on drawing this end now. Okay, so here there is a bone up, and here there is also this. Okay, and one. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I need the reference, and I have this here. This is spoiler up, and I need to see how the butterfly is done. So this is just a quick reference. I will just put always on top. Yep. So I can see better the design of this butterfly of the chaos. Okay. And the second wing, like that. Okay. The butterfly doesn't need really a lot of detail because it will be with a lot of effect, post effect on the top. I want it to look like a butterfly made of fire or something made of light. It will depend my mood when I will do the color, but that. A bit of pattern. So yes, here. I will just remove a bit my sketching layer, and I will erase a bit the part I want to fix, like here. And do some mirroring. So I can fix here. I will check. Yes, doesn't look bad. It will be probably look worst when I will start coloring. I'm used to modify a lot of drawing after coloring. But now I have to do a second hand, and this second hand I need to sketch it. Oops, wrong brush, this one. Maybe the second will be just showing better the perspective. Like that, maybe. No, this is a bit too much. Yes, like that. I prefer the silhouette. I will just have a quick look at the chat. Woohoo! A lot of... Hey! Hello, Anastasia! Pixel grid. I would like the pixel grid if it has a toggle button. Oh, yeah, right now if you zoom, it triggers automatically. Thank you, David, for all your awesome stream and tutorial. Oh, thank you. Hello, Nartans. So, up. I will pick my ink again, pick the right layer, and let's continue this hand. Oh yes, drawing is always so long. Oops, not really good looking line. Up. Okay, fix it. Up. So if this hand has a thumb, it's on the other side, it's here. So even if I do this, no, it doesn't look correct. So I will keep it hidden. And now pepper. So what is really hard with digital is I have this preset that is pretty thick, and with digital, because you can zoom, you have always the temptation to reduce the size and make every little line very thin and everything. But then it's a problem when you have to look at the comic. I think the comic is online at 40% size, so it's hard to see every detail at 40%. So I need to keep a thick line, and I need to tell a lot of detail with a thick line. And I'm always tempted to make more lines, more details. Okay. Always funny face when they don't have eyebrow. Prefer to check if everything is correct with the eye. Yeah. Like that, maybe a little bit thicker. Yes. So the sketch have a good size for the face, but I drew the eyes, the nose and the mouth a little bit too little. So I have to select them, Control T, press Shift to transform them a bit. Do that and pray for no crash. Deselect and save. Yes, now that better fit the volume. Oops. Sometimes I have to select again the good color and the good tool. Like that. So this is a big line, the line of the hair and the hat, because there is like a deep shadow here. And the ear is always on the side, on the line of the eyebrow and the line of the nose. And because we have a slightly low angle, I will have the ear here and there. Okay. Nope. Yes, better. I will look at the chat. Hello, Ronaldo. So, Adrian, can you tell us more about this comic project? About this episode or about Pepper and Carrot in general? Hey, Zentu. Yeah, so this one is the episode 25 of Pepper and Carrot, and I'm really late on this one. It's probably 2 months I'm working on it, more or less, because I was sick a bit in start of January. I worked on freelance project again to be sure I will not end without any money. And I also had a problem with my house. I'm renting a house, but there was a big problem with a leak of water. And yeah, I really wanted to make a lot of comics this year, but that's life. Sometimes it's hard to be productive. Good. Checking. Yep. Hi, Craig. Thank you, Nartons. You noticed the Pepper and Carrot mini. Feel free to pass the link on the mini chat for others to see it also. It's a great little series. And I want to do the cover in color. Here it's very, very sleepy. I really have to put a radio next time. I need to have a playlist or something. If I put the webcam in full mode and I show you what is happening next, you will see that this is sleep time. Yes. She really likes the heater. Yeah. So, trying to put it back again. Tuk, 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 tuk. And back on screen capture and webcam. Okay. It's so calm. Yes, oh my god, it's Carrot. Yes, that's my model. Apropos Carrot. No, I don't have to. I learned that I can't use apropos like this, but about Carrot, I will draw it now. Yes, eye direction. Pepper is good, but Carrot is not. Should be a bit more up. Like that, yeah. Still on the sketch layer. No. Maybe like that, yes. Tiny nose. Just checking. Yeah. This is a quick sketch just because I don't have any idea about where the hand of paper will be. So maybe like that. Just reducing the opacity. I think Pepper, it's cold outside and she has long sleeves. Yep, like that. Thank you, Shallow Macabre Art. So here I will probably remove these temporary sketch things up. Even it's a bit weak. That's always a problem I have with my hand. Bit more comfort for this area. Good. And the ear of carrot is a bit too tiny. Doom, doom, doom. And that's really cool to have this kind of tool and not have to erase everything again. I think the tail is better like that. So in this episode, Pepper is acting not a lot. It's mainly about the 3 witches. And Carrot doesn't act a lot at all. So I tried in the storyboard to find some room to make a lot of tiny reaction of Carrot, and to do so I had to put Carrot in the arm of Pepper all the time. It's cute, but it's a bit difficult to draw. So when I start to have some problem reading some area about line, I tend to thicken some part to improve a bit, to increase the readability, or to make some shadow, like this little occlusion shadow. It's some really classic stuff. It's not some precious technique or anything. Okay, I will try to get a little look at 50%. 50% is a bit the HD resolution. It's 33% is a bit the printing size, and 40% is the webcomic online size. So 50%, if it looks good at 50%, I'm usually publishing that. And it's okay. Maybe the butterfly could be better frame to see it, but we got a close-up on this shot and it will glow a lot. And I want to also have Pepper right here in the center. So yes, this shot is really about Pepper watching it and be amazed by it. I will look a bit at the chat. Whoa, a lot of things. It was hard to write a link on the... Yes. Thank you, blank tie. Yes, right, Craig. Pepper is really the audience in this episode. French Bob Ross. Yeah. I have to grow some hair. Hello, Quiralta. So for those who join now, this is just an experiment this afternoon. I'm streaming while I'm working, but so far I like to do it, so I want to plan to do it like every Wednesday. I will probably communicate a bit better about this in the next week, but I try to get used to see how it works. Next time, maybe I will put some radio or some playlist in background, so it will not be as boring. I just want to like set up a table in the internet in live, and people can come, go back and just see me working and just interact, like a live chat but with video also. I can do it because I don't have any copyright issue with my publisher. I can show the comics, I can do everything I want, so yeah, that's I was just wondering last week why I don't do this all the time almost, but So this part works a bit, but yeah, maybe it's here. And the skirt is not so it's like that, and here, okay. So I'm trying something new with this episode. It's to not draw too much here at the sketch, my little sketch. As you saw, I keep it really, really rough, and I try to draw when I ink. It takes a bit longer right now when I'm inking, because usually when the drawing is really really detailed, I just have to underline the line and it's quick. But maybe I'm not so fast at inking, but the process is a bit more interesting because I can sort of create a lot of things when I'm drawing. And also maybe at the final it's not so, how can I say, if I skip drawing in detail, maybe being a bit slow now, it's not a big loss of time. And maybe I will improve also. I will probably get better and better at directly inking. So okay, now let's remove the sketch, and just I will complete a bit the drawing. here, like that. Yes, here there is some line not connected. I try to close them, because after it can be very useful for all this gimmick stuff. You know, the filter I show with flatting and everything. I'm trying to use that. I'm just trying to use every technology that can help. Because the process of making a comics is very long. Yes, I don't like really the roundiness of the shape of carrot, and it's maybe because of this here. I will probably remove it totally and draw a new one. Maybe it was good enough, but you know. Yes, better now. The jacket here has also a little problem. Like that. Yes, it works better. So I'll just review at 50%. Maybe more fold here. Good, and one panel done. Okay, I can go to the next one. Doop, doop, doop. The next one. So the next one we have Tim, the witch, and Cumin. And Cumin gives the butterfly to Tim. And there is Cain also waiting here, and Pepper standing here, and in the foreground a big tornado of particles. This is a background element, it will be painted, but I have like 4 characters from a long distance and with a view angle like a bird view. It's quite a complicated shot, and I will do it, but just first I have to go to toilet. This is the magic of stream, and I'm back in 3 minutes or 2 minutes, and I hope it will not be noisy. And I'm back. So, thanks Greg for the mute button. I have to I have to use it next time. Sorry for the noise. I'll try to browse a bit back the chat, and also to bring back a bit the microphone. I hope everything is okay with the volume of my voice. So next, if you do add music, please keep it very low. Sure, yes, I will put it very low. I have to go, but I hope to see you next week. Bye bye Esther. Alors Guillaume, salut David. Oh, in French. It's a thank you for Krita lessons. Why do you prefer to use Krita? That's something I will keep in mind, and I will talk about it after. But I don't know, I can answer now. I prefer to use Krita because this software is like built for my skill, for my hand. I'm using it since 2012, and I did so much bug report and meeting with the developers and everything that every aspect of this software is like suited for better work with me. I was a Photoshop teacher before, but yeah, Photoshop is a good software, but it doesn't work well on Linux, and it's not open source, so I think it sucks. That's all. And hi John Colado. So Denver Brugol, hi David, do you use vector tools? Yes, I have a layer here, frame, and this layer I will just save. This layer is full of vector object, and this is just for tracing the frame. So yes, just square. So this is a new SVG vector in Krita 4.0. I have a FX on them because they are usually white, but I have a filter effect to turn them black because it's convenient when I draw, because yeah, white frame on white background, it's a bit hard to see what I'm doing. So yes, I turn them black, temporary. And for other stuff, I will use vector just for putting text or for adding some lines or everything, but not very often. Treat other with respect. Yes, that's my description. I just quickly brightened it. I do what I can. Maybe we can do better next time. If you want, you can just copy the rules or everything on the live and paste on a pirate pad or on a shared notepad, and we can maybe edit it later. Yeah, sorry for the bad words. I know saying something that sucks, it's maybe too violent, and maybe I'm not handling English properly. But I really think it's very bad for Photoshop for being not open source, because it's a good piece of software, and I prefer my software open. Do you have an Instagram account? No, I don't. I have a Twitter, I have a Mastodon on Framapiaf, and I have a Facebook page, and I have a Google+, and all of this is on my website, pepperandcarrot.com. I think they are talking about the rule description. Okay, I think I read all the chat, and now I can start this panel. So this panel will require me to make a bit of perspective. Yes, I need a perspective grid, a grid for the floor to see where the characters are standing, and I need also some guideline to see the vertical, how the vertical deformation is. So I will just open a new window. Where is it? Is it here? Okay. I will hide my secret folders and go to my resource, texture, and I have my grid. I will just put a grid. So this is just a file I just drag and drop, and it's a grid. So I put this grid, and yeah, I will just put it over the scene, and I will deform it with the 4-point deformation, like that. So I can try to match a perspective ground. Yeah, this is okay. Yes, yes, like that. So I will remove all the part I don't need. Just tracing a big square selection and pressing delete. And now I need some vertical stuff. So I will put this layer here on the top. Press Ctrl G to create a new group. And I will call this group Persp for perspective. Here it's floor. And I will right click and decorate this in gray. So that's how all my layers here are in gray. This gray for me is just to say for myself, don't paint on this one. This one are just top things, like the frame, the grid. This is just the grid here, you can see to adjust the frame. And everything, so perspective I can after fold and see it like that. But I need my vertical line, so I will just call again my folder and take some parallel line. Whoops, drag and drop, insert as a new layer. And yes, I need to switch to this type of deformation. And this is not, yeah, like that is good. I can see the character. Good box. So pressing enter, but now it's a mess with all the lines, so I'm going to press Ctrl U for the HSV saturation and colorize here. Press the saturation, a bit the luminosity, so I have some red line. I'll select the panel, I invert the selection and press delete. I will do the same on the floor. So, yep. Now I have a nice perspective grid. This is vertical, so I press dead. This can press X, Y. Can fold and just reduce the opacity so I can see what I'm doing. Good. Time to save. Oh, do you have references in comics? Not for the drawing. That's hard to answer because there is one comics I really like. The name is Family Compo by Tsukasa Ojo, and it's a very good comic about the story and about the drawing. I really like it. Is this your first time streaming here? Yes, probably I did a test 1 year ago, and the picture was flickery and I couldn't even paint because my computer was on not good performance. So yes, it's my first time and I don't have a lot of experience, so sorry about this if my sentence doesn't make sense or if it's a bit boring. I'm not really familiar with what other artists are doing when they do streaming because I don't have a lot of time to watch it. So I'm really trying to invent a bit from scratch. If you know something that are cool, let me know in the comments. So when there is some character with a perspective deformation, I try just to reduce all to really geometric shape. Yes, that's maybe how I can say it. You know, a sphere, cylinder, and everything. So it's a bit less hard. For example, here I need to put cumin, and cumin has a big volume because she's a bit fat, but that's good for a silhouette because it's easy to recognize her. There is the tall one, Cayenne, a bit fat one, and the small one. So maybe I need to put a little pause where she almost bend a bit with respect, because the small one is her master. This is really long arm. Maybe like that. Should just offer it. Yes, at this step there is a lot of guessing. I usually at the origin I wanted to make here so people look at that, and if I make it here, no, it will not be good. So I have to redo it. I'll just maybe bring her a bit higher up, like that, and a bit bigger. So this time like that. So this little butterfly and the tornado, does a lot of wind on the scene, and I have to show also all the cape and the clothes underneath. Yes, yeah, I think it will be good. So for Tim, I want to have a hand like that, and I would like she keep facing the tornado, just putting her hand and as if it's something she did already a lot of time. Yes, maybe like that. So yes, she's too tall now. I have a scaling issue because she's really a little character. Not as little like that, but maybe like that. And here, thanks to the perspective, I can put them on the same floor. But it's really hard, this type of view angle. So I think she's a bit on this side, and I want to put her like that, maybe. Yes. Yes, the layout is better now. So I forgot something. It's about the design. Sable Diacre, I have put you on my TV. Finally, it's useful. Oh no. So Frosty Flytrap, how much more are you planning to stream in the future? I wanted to do it weekly, every Wednesday, and to show you what I'm doing. So sometime it will be about inking, sometimes it will be about doing some color, sometimes it will be doing illustration. Yes, that's the plan. Thank you for the question. Just be yourself when streaming. Yes, I will try. Thank you. How did you make this grid like this, like that on a specific frame? I show it, but what I did, I just took some grid. It's a file with grid on it. If I zoom, you can see it's just grid on background. I prepared this before, and I just put them on Krita directly and just deformed with the transform tool. What was the most annoying problem you encountered on Linux with Wacom tablet? The Wacom tablet driver being broken, and at a point in the history, there was many time where the driver was broken, and when I say broken, it works, but for example, the developer adds some smoothing to it, and the smoothing is too strong, for example, but that's not a setting you can really change, or you need to change it with command line. So yes, sometime I had like a period like 2 or 3 weeks where it was really hard to draw, just because someone changed one setting in the driver in background. So this is a really annoying problem. Now I have to watch every commit just to read, just to see, even if I don't understand the code, just to read what they are doing, because I want to know if the things is failing, why it's failing. Because sometimes, yes, I had this period where I was thinking that I couldn't draw because all my strokes were just random, and it was because of a setting. That's just crazy. And that's type of the problem that happened with using Linux, because most of the developers on it are not really using the tablet as I'm using it. Probably the code and the setting they put at this time was better for if you had a touch device or something, but with a Wacom stylus for taking like quick note or something, but for drawing it can be very, very hard. This and software updates. Sometime I'm thinking about the update of Inkscape. That was pretty critical for me. And yes, you can find on the blog and everything when I had the problem. Did you ever have to switch to Windows because of that? Never. I never planned to go back to a proprietary system. It's just not on my list of alternatives, so I switched a lot of distribution. When there is a problem like this for the driver, for example, I tend to go back to a distribution of Linux with an older package, and then I try to contact and to fix for getting the thing right later. But no, yeah, I never planned to go back to Windows or to Mac, just because I'm not really attracted by this. I just like to manage my system as I want and to try all this technology. For example, the GNOME desktop, the KDE desktop, XFCE and everything. That's a little part of my family after 10 years. All this project. I can't imagine being on another platform and can't be able to test all these things. I love them. I love this project. So this is Pepper with a big hat. She will be a bit tall compared to the other character in the scene, so I'll have to scale her later. Yeah, she also follow the guide, but her hand should be more group, like that. And the perspective should crush her a bit vertically. Yeah, compared to Cumin, she is about the same size. So yeah, maybe like that. That looks okay, but the 2 leg like that is a bit too static. So maybe Pepper could add 1 leg like that. Yep, maybe. Linux for life. Hashtag. Cool. Yeah. Thank you, Boom. So now I think I have the using the deform tool to tweak a bit, but I think I have the base. Maybe putting Cayenne, this character, only the foot is a bit lazy, but she's not really relevant to this shot, so yes, I will probably keep her this way. Even put her like that. Okay. And on the floor now. So it's only snow. This is the part that will be like a tornado. And this is will be only painted. I don't need to detail all of this with inking. I don't really like this foot like that. Yes, maybe like that. And coat. Okay, so I can reduce the opacity, perspective grid also, zooming to 100%, and start to ink this now. So I will just move a bit the microphone. Okay. Hey, Polo. It's very hard to pronunciate the name. So I would say Joao Polo Fernandez. Hi. I will just bring this reference here. So now saving also. So this for me is very hard to do. When I have a fat line like this, and I have to sort of not detail everything and just maybe like that. Ah, thank you, Joao Paulo Fernandez. Hello, Mots HD. So try to see this little head. It's good, but too little now for the size. So I need to adjust it. Maybe like that. Yep. Try to not upscale too much, because after the line is too thick. So yes, we are at 100% viewport. There is no one who will ever watch the comic at this size, but I'm trying to add some little detail. The size, yeah, this will be more like that or like that. It's good to guess a bit of expression and everything. Not a coat like that. She has a cape. With like this, and also a collar with some bones. What is the screen recorder? The screen recorder is OBS. And yes, if you type OBS streaming, you will find it. It's a open source software. And yes, I can switch here. You see, I have some presets, and this is, if I double click, you will see them online. So yes, I can put presets with yes, title and everything. It's a very good little software. It was sort of easy to set up, but I had to follow like a tutorial on the YouTube website. Yes. Sorry, words don't come easy today. And my English is very rusty. Maybe my brain refused to and draw at the same time and be very focused on what I'm doing and speaking in English at the same time. I can feel that. But yes, maybe it's just a matter of practicing, so I will do it. Because I find it funny. Yes, I really need to practice. Hi, Lorinas. Thank you. Yes, I'm planning to make this live streaming weekly. So this is a big project, and I hope I will maintain it. Ah, yes. If only there were native speaker to practice on. Yep. I think I'm just too shy. I don't want to bother people. But yes, I'll try to practice. Her cape is a bit too small. That's too bad because I like it the flow. I see I have some notification. Oh, IRC and things. Okay. I don't like her foot being like that. I will probably redo it. Just slightly more like that. Yeah, it's a detail, but and yes, I always tend to forget that her clothes are really, really this way. Good. I'm trying to not cross-hatch too much because I love to do this. You know, cross-hatching like this, detail. I really like to do this, but when I color, I don't like it. I like to render black and white artwork with this technique, but when I color them, I don't really like to see the cross-hatching. So it's always a bit weird for me to finish an artwork in black and white, as I'm doing now, and to limit myself to not cross-hatch. On Twitch, yeah, I had a account in Twitch, and I made 2 live stream on Twitch. Yes, and I don't know why I stopped. Oh, I know. I was on Linux Mint, and the Cinnamon desktop had some very black square. The Krita The Krita canvas was always flickering in black, and I had no idea how to fix this with the NVIDIA driver, and then I started to stop this experimentation, and I stopped my Twitch account at that time also. So now I'm trying with YouTube. I think it's a good platform because yes, I guess everyone can access YouTube because of the HTML5 player. You don't need anymore the Flash player. So what theme do you use for GNOME? Oh, that's a custom one. I'm using you can see it on I will just open a new window like that. It's a new mix but with blue theme. It's the Numix Blue for Antergos. I think they name it Numix Aqua. And I say it's a custom because it's not distributed for Ubuntu. So I just compile by hand Numix, and I change all the string with red color to blue. I still think it's really hard in Linux that you have to choose a theme and the color with the theme. I really like KDE for that and XFCE because they often deliver something to customize the color of your choice. But on the GNOME, there is not. The GNOME desktop is not really user-friendly. I think people tend to say that GNOME is easy or user-friendly, but it's a very advanced and expert desktop. You need to really dive into the system if you want to customize it a bit. But yeah, I can do it, so I'm doing it. But that's not really the philosophy I like about a tool. Also, I don't really like the zoom thing here when you hit the corner and everything zoom like that. I would prefer to select here on the bar. But I'm experimenting. I like to use things for a long period before giving my opinion or criticizing things. So yeah, I can do work with GNOME. It's a good operating desktop environment, but maybe not my favorite. Yes, I do agree with very okay. I don't know how to pronunciate it. It's very okay. Yes. For me, GNOME is hard to use. Yes. I agree. GNOME is hard to use. Yes, for example, this here, you have the setting here. Just to click on the setting, but it's just a list of settings because you also have the GNOME tweak tool that have settings in another place. Every time I try to find something, it's a bit harder to find how to customize it. But I really like the design of GNOME. I think that they made a very good work with their designer, and with the top bar in black and with the little icon here, and also you can't see all I'm running in background. That type of things were good design, I think. The notification here, it's good. Yes, I totally agree. Oh yes, Arch in AUR have that theme. Yes, that's good. I really like Arch. Maybe it's one of my favorite Linux distribution and ecosystem of package, but it's really too risky for me with Pepper and Carrot to use it. I had little problem in the past with it. For example, new version of ImageMagick and all my scripts and are just relying on it. So I had to redo the script, and someday I'm in a sort of mission, just release day or day where I need to work all the day and not tweak my script and everything. And for this, Arch is not really ready to be mission critical. It wasn't designed for it, so there is no problem, but I prefer to use a 6 months release, because I can have not stable but frozen package for 6 months. Ow. Yes, so. This doesn't work. And our pose in general doesn't work too. I can see the sketch is not. Here the legs are not really aligned with the body I made. So I will just modify the sketch a bit. I think I will redo this sketch. Here. Okay, this is slightly better. Yes, I want her to have this little bending position, but with this view angle to bend the top body, and with this vertical, it's really hard. I'm just not enough trained to make this deformation. Oh, i3 and awesome. Yes, two desktop I really like also. I never used i3 more than for awesome, I used it. I used it during long time, during long period. I really like the tiling environment, but sometimes it's very hard with a stylus to control the environment. I need to have access to the keyboard and the stylus and the mouse. And yes, at one point it wasn't working a lot, so I decided to get back to the more complete desktop environment. I mean the one with a notification area with a taskbar and everything. Also, I was the type of user that was using a custom script on Awesome to get some feature, and with the update, my script just broke, and I wasn't able to fix it because I'm not really good at Lua script. So yeah, that's just the sad part. I wasn't really in control of all my configuration script. I do agree about Unity Desktop. I really like it, how it was savvy for the vertical space, and I really like it, the design. Yep. It's sad. It's sad this desktop doesn't exist because it was really a good desktop. I know it still exists with the Unit project, but yes, it will be hard for the little Unit team to keep with the bugs and with everything that drivers and display and everything will bring with time. Trouser, no. I don't want to put cumin a trouser. I was thinking about her leg. Yes, this is another layer of big coat. Yeah, that's more like, yes, she has a cape and a big coat. Ooh, it starts to be very dark here, so I will just open the light. Okay. No. She has like small boots, and it's really hard to draw them in this perspective. I will take a bit of distance to check it. No, it doesn't look really right. That's because of the leg position. And I think I can do a transformation at this point. Yes, more like that. and like that. Yes, better. Yes. Mm-hmm. So what Linux distro are you using? I'm using Ubuntu. It's Ubuntu 17.10 right now. And yeah, it's not a really good distribution. I see better in the past, and there will probably be a lot better in the future. But it's working, and I'm really liking the Ubuntu ecosystem, all the apt and all these things from Debian, but with all the PPA and everything. So I sort of like everything like that. When I go to RPM distribution like Fedora or OpenSUSE, I always have a little bit of myself that is lost on it. I used them on the past for a long period, but I always feel better at home when I'm using Ubuntu and Derivative. Even when I'm using Debian, I feel better at home. For all the tool and the structure. It's really or Debian or Arch and Derivative. But the RPM, I always have a bit of struggling with them. For OpenSUSE and Fedora and Mageia. Digital drawing stream turned into nerdy Linux stuff. Yeah, for me it's not a surprise because if our Pepper and Carrot chat on IRC is already discussing a lot of nerdy things, and I really like it. I think drawing and nerdy things can be together. But feel free to also write on the chat if you the Linux distribution you are using, if you use one. I'm also curious about it. Yeah, this weekend I was at Japan Unpacked in Switzerland, and there was a conference between mine and the man who were talking was saying that nowadays, if you do an update on your phone, you are a geek, or you are almost like a nerd or something. And I wasn't really agreeing with that. I was saying, no, doing an update on a smartphone is nothing. There is no risk. It's maybe doing an update on Arch is nerd, but not on a smartphone. Hi Sarah. So which distro and desktop is your favorite so far? I have a lot of favorite one. For example, for my parents and for my family, I really like Linux Mint because they can use it and I know they are safe. I know it will not change, so I don't have a lot of IT works to do. And it works and they love it. They love the design. They love all the little customization as changing the color, changing the folder color, or changing the wallpaper. Every little detail like that are very, very simple on Linux Mint. So I really like Linux Mint, and I have a part of also of my family that prefer Elementary. So I really like Elementary as well. For my own taste, I really like Manjaro and Arch, and I really like also the Ubuntu. Right now I'm using the Ubuntu 17.10 with the GNOME desktop, and as I said before, I saw better. The distribution of package is not really perfect. There is a lot of little bugs, and the desktop environment is okay, but yeah, maybe I'm not really adapted to use GNOME so much full time. It's frustrating because there is so many things I like in GNOME and there is a lot of things that I don't like also. So I have like a love-hate relationship with this desktop environment. I can see the lot of good design and good ideas, and at the same time I can see also all the things that doesn't work, and that's also like the core ideas of GNOME. So I really like KDE, I really like XFCE, and I just keep switching. But if I had to recommend a distribution for someone new to Linux, I would probably advise Manjaro and KDE. Manjaro KDE, yeah. Because it's simple to have all the software at the last version, so to test the last version of Krita out of the box, it's a bit simpler. On Linux Mint, it's really complicated to get the last version of Krita for a total new user. And KDE, because yes, it's user friendly. You have a lot of customization with the mouse without entering any command line, and it's a very good experience when you start a new desktop to see every detail you can change. Mathieu Coudert. Hi David, nice to see you in live session. Are you working on the beta or stable Krita version right now? Will you update your brush pack for the 4X release? So yes, I will update my brush pack for the 4 release. I already have this brush updated, and I still have all of this to update, but they work in Krita 4, but I want to make this preview. You see, it's a flat, and the graphics is a bit more crispy. So yes, I will redo my brush kit, but I will not change a lot of things. I will just make it works for Krita 0.4. And yes, I'm using here Krita 0.4. About Krita, it's 4 beta 1, and Git because I'm compiling it. So it's the Krita of this morning. So, but isn't the Krita ape image the last version? Yes. You can run the ape image on Linux Mint and it works really fine. It's really good. But maybe for a new user, it's a bit difficult to use the ape image. I know it's really simple to just right click and put execute and run it, but maybe the new user wants a nice icon, wants all the Krita file to be associated. For example, there is one thing with GNOME I don't really like with Nautilus. It's open, but you have the open with menu here, and you need a second click. Before it was like open and here open with and a list like that, but now it's open with and that. And because I'm editing picture with many software, it's a bit complicated. The beta version of Krita is really nice. There is a lot of really cool feature. As you can see here, I have the preview. If I change the size, for example, you can see that it's changing here. So I can see, you can see everything moving at the same time. I can fold the scratch pad to test the brush. I can see all the brush here. The new brush editor is really cool. Like I save as a new brush, for example this one. If I want to save it, I can load from icon library and just put a new things here like that, and paint on the top and change the name, and that's it. Cancel. So in the next version of Krita, it's really easy to do some brush, and I will keep giving new brush kit, but I'm also sure that every user will be able to create their own brush kit from scratch. So this is very exciting news with the next Krita. Yes, there is also all the text. For those who never saw the text tool in Krita 4, you have now the possibility to enter text like this, and you have a floating windows. It's not the final design. It's a work in progress. And I can write something, hello world, select it, put it like 20, if I save, and then you have your text. Then the text, you can move it around, rotate it. There is some tiny refresh bug, but that's not a problem. It's just refresh things. Okay, I will delete this and delete also these new layers. So is the next Krita a bit more heavy on resource? My last app image download take a lot more time to load than the last one. The generation of Krita 4.0 is really faster and load very faster, the first load. I don't know what changed. I'm not really looking at the development for all the performance, because it's often really hard to understand what's really is happening, but I see there is a lot of I saw a lot of little changes here and there, and it's really loading faster. Same for brush, for the speed of brush and the feeling of being almost real time. It's really good, but there is some bugs and crash and everything, and I'm still reporting a lot. Do you know if there is any new animation functionality coming up at all? I don't know. I sincerely don't know. I will say probably, but I'm not sure, really. At one time, I decided a bit to not look at all the animation part of Krita, just to focus on the painting and testing all the filter and everything. So I'm not really a beta tester of this part of Krita, the animation. It's just because it takes time, and it requires serious people to make some animation using the beta and doing some loading, some project they already have and everything. Here with Pepper and Carrot, I don't really have time to make some animation from scratch, so I don't have a lot of files with animation. I have just one run cycle with a carrot or something. It's nothing spectacular. I don't like what is happening with the hat here. The size of the hat is good, but this part is a bit too big, too fat. Maybe like that. Okay. And same for this part. Oops. I will take this eraser. Here, the choose. Oh, and carrot. Carrot. So the tail here. Okay. And the head. Nope. So I will remove the sketch and the perspective. just to see how it works. Keep the perspective maybe. I don't like really what's happening here. This should be like that. And yeah, good. So we'll remove the perspective and I will keep the page like that, saving. So for the pepper and carrot, I have the render farm. So it's a script. I'm just rendering the page. So here the panel will appear. Yes, this refresh. And it makes like a backup point. Okay. And so I'm done with this inking of these two panels. It's the page 3 and I have till the page 7 to do on the next day, so I will work a lot. Maybe I will end here and maybe next week we will I will share my screen for some coloring. So I hope you like it this afternoon, and maybe I will keep the same hour on Wednesday weekly. I will try next week, and if I can do it like 3 times or 4 times, I will continue to do it. I will just put my camera on my face so you can see me. Say goodbye. And if you want to continue discussion on the Pepper and Carrot website, I will just find a Firefox here. You have on the community panel here IRC, Riot, Framateam, Telegram, or everything. So you just need to click on it. For example, IRC, you type here a nickname and I will be on this type of chat after for the rest of the evening, continuing to work. So I hope you liked it and see you next week. Let's say that. Bye bye.